What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today I am making what might be, for me, the most exciting video that I have ever made. And that is because Belligerent Studios is finally open for business. And I'm gonna show you around. Let's do it! All right, guys, hope you're doing great out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Kyle, and welcome to Belligerent Studios. What I typically do here is I take all sorts of awesome, high-gain related guitar equipment, I record it with a simple setup, and I give you the unprocessed audio on your end. But as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, today is an extremely exciting day because if you have been following my channel for roughly a year or so, you will know that I actually moved my entire YouTube operation and my massive gear collection from literally my basement. All of this stuff was in my basement. I moved it to an actual leased building that is basically around the corner from my house. And I have been operating out of there for the last year now. And if you watch some of those early videos when I first moved into this space, you'll know that I had a whole lot of big plans for this room. So it's been a year and my studio is just now open for business. That probably tells you that I'm a little bit behind. And without getting too deep into everything, the last year has been a little bit rough on me, and honestly moving to this studio has created, some issues and some setbacks and stuff like that. But it also did create a lot of awesome opportunities for me, not only to have this space and to do cool stuff with it for myself and for my channel, but also in order to kind of help my local music community. So I've kind of finally got the motivation and figured, let's start putting some work into the actual studio aspect of this building. And so for the past couple weeks, I've just been doing a ton of stuff over on this side of the building in order to get it ready. And it is ready, and in fact, I've actually already tracked 3 different bands in this space. So like that is just extremely exciting to me, and the dudes who have come in here have been incredible to work with. They were super excited to come in here and check this stuff out and to be able to record with me, and they were all really happy with the result that they got. So I'm beyond thrilled with the results that I'm getting in this room. When I first moved into this building, I mean, look at these ceilings. We've got these high vaulted ceilings, and I've got a lot of natural diffusion in here from all of the gear that is all over the place. So like this room sounds amazing for everything, but it sounds amazing for drums. And that's kind of what we're gonna focus on a little bit today. I kind of want to give you guys a tour of my drum recording setup because the guitar stuff is not quite ready yet. I am going to be building an insane reamping station here, so stay tuned if you guys want to make sure that you catch that video. It's gonna be really, really cool. Like, it is literally the stuff that guitar nerd dreams are made of. Make sure that you are subscribed because there's gonna be a lot of fun stuff coming up, not just with like product reviews. I'm actually gonna be getting a little bit more into the studio side of things and recording, especially when it comes to guitars and stuff here in the near future. But what we're gonna do today, I'm gonna give you guys a quick tour of basically my recording gear and how I have the setup, the recording setup laid out over here. But then at the end, I'm going to patch in my band Human Animal. Re-recorded our first single, and although it's not like mixed and stuff yet, I'm just gonna kind of show you the drum sounds and the guitar sounds that we have been able to get in here just because I'm super excited and I wanna give you guys some sound samples. So without further ado, I'm gonna flip this camera around and I'm gonna show you guys around the drum tracking room here at Belligerent Studios. Let's do it. All right, guys, so this is the drum room here at Belligerent Studios. My original idea was to have this be a live room and then have this room over here, which is an absolute disaster area, as you guys can see. This is actually where I do all my YouTube videos. There's my little YouTube, my little nerd corner. But I wanted to make this over here, I wanted to make this like the tracking room. But the way that I have this set up in here, I actually really like it. So I think I'm actually gonna leave it like this for a little while. I'll tell you exactly how I have everything kind of working at the moment, but we've seen all the guitar amp stuff here. Here is the actual drum recording setup, and I've got a lot of people to thank because I had a lot of companies help me out with this stuff. So I am gonna give those guys a shout out and stuff. Over here, as you guys can see, I have a giant just rack of snares. I've actually been collecting snares for probably 3 or 4 years, so it's not like I bought this stuff overnight, but I wanted to have some really cool stuff. We got the Slipknot Joey Jordison snare. This is the Gretsch 4160 brass, which is another studio classic. This one I'm really excited about because I just picked it up. This is a Ludwig, I believe it's a late 60s Supraphonic with the super sensitive snare wire setup. I got this for an insane, absolutely insane price from Guitar Center's used site. Quick plug for my Guitar Center used site affiliate link down below in the comments. But almost every snare that you see here has been purchased from that site actually, because you are able to get incredible deals on used stuff there. But moving over here to the actual drums, the drum that is on the stand is the Gretsch Bell Brass. Now, I bought this drum with my own money, and it was basically just because I wanted to have the best of the modern production, best snares that you can get, and the Gretsch Bell Brass really as good as it gets without getting into the $2,000 and $3,000 snare range. This drum, I believe, is $1,300. It's still very expensive, but I'm super glad I bought it because it records like a dream, and I've used it on 2 of those 3 bands tracks already. So yeah, as far well, I'm already getting ahead of myself. Over here, all these snares are on the Gator snare rack. So Gator is one of the companies that helped out big time. They sent out this snare rack. They sent out pretty much all the cables that you guys are gonna see. These are I believe they're Headliner series cables, and that's like their top of the line cable. I love these things. You guys saw these on one of my guitar vlogs where my band went to Costa Rica. They sent out the instrument cables of these, and they have the little sleeve that mutes the signal when you unplug it from your guitar. And I've just been in love with these cables ever since, and you're gonna find them on pretty much every single one of these. I've started color coding them in order to get more organized, but yeah, seriously massive shout out to Gator. They have been an awesome partner with the channel, and every product that they have sent out, I've just loved. Another product that they sent out that, again, I'm loving, I haven't even fully put this together yet, but this is one of their Elite Series sidecars, and this is a sidecar that's on wheels. It's got a rack, as you can see here. It's got like a desktop surface. It's got a separate drawer here. So eventually, this is going to actually get sorted and not look like a disaster, but I've kind of been throwing all this together as I go over the last couple of weeks. So yeah, Gator Elite sidecar here. This has rack space, and this is where my actual interface for my drums has been set up, and it's kind of a weird mishmash at the moment, but right here, this is kind of the brain, this is the main interface, and this is the new PreSonus Quantum HD8. Insane interface, dude. This thing is USB, but the latency is just ridiculously low. The main reason that I wanted it in the first place is because it has built-in guitar reamp outs on the front, and those require like no routing at all. I've already done some reamping with this, and I've got some videos coming up showing you that, and it works flawlessly. Like, this is my favorite interface that I've ever owned, and I've had a bunch. So huge shout out to PreSonus for sending that out. You guys are gonna see that in a couple videos coming up where I'm gonna highlight the features a little bit more. But the cool thing is, these Focusrite interfaces that are going into the PreSonus has 16 channels of in on top of the 8 channels that are already built in. So I'm able to use the 16 channels from the Focusrite interfaces here to create a 24 channel drum setup. So I've got 24 channels of tracking ability, and that's amazing, because like pretty much any drum mic setup that you could possibly conjure in your brain, I can do that. So like, that's amazing. And again, the Gator sidecar, put it in a rack, use it as a desk. It's a really nice utility piece of hardware. And again, it's on wheels, so if I need to wheel it out of the way, I can do that easily. But the reason that I wanted to set this up like this is because I want to be able to track myself on drums, because I'm going to start doing some more drum stuff on another channel here in the near future. But the way that I have it set up, I can actually hook up my MacBook Pro, which is what I record everything on, and I can air send that over to my other monitor over here, because I've got a Mac Mini on that desk. I can literally control all of this stuff from over there. So that's why I want to keep this the way that it is at the moment, because I can seriously do everything that I need to do with the way that it is currently hooked up. Yeah, the way that this kind of came together, it all just worked out perfectly. And yeah, let's get to the drum microphones, because that is basically the most important part of all this. And I've had some help from some amazing companies again with the drum microphones. I'm super happy, and you guys are going to hear how amazing these sound. So up here on the overheads, Lauten Audio has kind of just been taking over the microphone world over like the past 5 years or so. They're coming out with hit after hit as far as microphones go. These are the LA220 version 1 FET condenser microphones, and they are currently on my overheads because apparently Dave Grohl uses these microphones as his overheads for a lot of his recordings. So if Dave Grohl is using these things, they must be good. And that's awesome because these are like a $300 microphone. So they're extremely affordable as far as overhead condenser pairs go. And then down here, Lauten Audio again, we've got the LS208, which is a really cool end address condenser microphone here. And I actually am miking the snare body. Now, you guys are gonna see a lot of microphones in this video, and I've kind of just set up a bunch of stuff because I'm experimenting with sounds, I'm placement and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna use every single microphone that you guys see here on these recordings, but I'm kind of just really getting my feet wet with a lot of this stuff and trying to figure it out. So this is a really nice, full sounding condenser mic that can be used on a lot of sources. And if you want something that's got good low end and is gonna pick up the body of whatever you're recording, this is a great mic for that. And that kind of brings me to the rest of the drum mic kit, because this is actually SE Electronics, their Arena mic kit, I believe it's called. I'll put the name up here because I'm not good with remembering names like that, but it's got the V7X on the snare, and then it's got these V-Beat tom microphones. It gives you 3 of those. And straight up, I was an SM57 guy on snare for the longest time. As soon as I put this V7X up on snare, that was over. Like the V7X just sounds incredible on snare top, and I have one, I put an extra one down here on the snare bottom. The VB drum microphones are really like natural sounding. They're not, I really like the Audix drum mics, the D2, the D4, but that's for like the really scoopy metal type stuff. If I kind of want a little bit more of a natural tom sound, these V-Beats are my go-to. Like they sound incredible. They take EQ really well, and one of the important things is they reject the off-axis sounds like the cymbals and stuff like that. Up here on the hi-hats, this is kind of a classic SM7B on hi-hats. A lot of people like to use that microphone for hi-hats. Moving down to the kick drum here, as you guys can see, I've got an amalgamation of stuff going on. If you guys can see in there, I have a Beta 91A. That is the click mic that is used on like every metal drum recording to get that real clicky kick drum sound. And then here, we've got the V-Kick that is part of that SE Electronics microphone kit, and this is a really, really good sounding dynamic kick mic. As you guys can see here, it's got a couple of switches in order to kind of swap the EQ around and get different sounds out of it, and that is kind of inside the kick a little bit. And then outside, we've got another studio classic, the Electro Voice RE20, picking up the outside of the drum head, and that's just gonna kind of be to pick up a little bit of low-end thump in case we need it. The last 2 close mics on the kit are the SE8. These are the small diaphragm condensers that come with that SE Electronics microphone kit, and I'm kind of just using them. They sound amazing as overheads. They're really, really good overheads. The only reason they're not on overheads is because I really wanted to check out those Lautens, and they ended up sounding great up there, so I left them. So now I'm using these as close mics on my China and on the bottom of the Z Custom Monster Mega Bell Ride here. So that is it as far as the close microphone setup, but I've also got a bunch of room mics set up to capture some room sounds. So here I've got the SE Electronics VR1. I have those set up in the Blumline configuration at a 45-degree angle, about 5 feet out of the drum kit. This really seemed to be the spot where like the drums were sounding amazing out in front of the drum kit. So I kind of just set them up there, and I liked the sounds that I was getting, so I left them. These are really affordable, good sounding ribbon microphones. They sound great on guitar cabs too, if you're pairing them with an SM57. And then out here, these are really cool microphones for me because Mark Lewis actually sold me these mics. They are Rode K2 tube condenser microphones, and he used them on his drum rooms for some Whitechapel records and some other stuff. So now I have them set up as room microphones. They are currently set up in the Omni pattern, which means they pick up everything around them, and I'm kind of have them over here close to the corners and the sides of this wall to pick up some like reflections and stuff, and that's actually working out really well. These microphones sound really good. And then over here, this is kind of a goofy one that I'm experimenting with. I've got an Royer R121 ribbon mic. This is of course a classic mic for pairing with an SM57 for heavy guitars. Amazing microphone. And I have it in a trash can, and I have it as far away from the drum kit as I can kind of get it at the moment. And that is basically to pick up some interesting room reflections and stuff like that. And it's working really well. A couple of the people that I sent these drum tracks to really liked that mic. I didn't really know what to listen for on that one, but they said it sounded good. So I'm gonna take their word for it. Over here, going into this room, we've got more mics. So I've got a bathroom mic. This is another SE Electronics. This is the VR1 or V1, no, what is this? X1R ribbon microphone. Quick edit here, guys. I actually have two of the SE Electronics X1R ribbon microphones in the old toilet room here because SE Electronics were nice enough to send me a second microphone out. That way I could do a stereo pair in here so it's not a mono room, but yeah, sounds insane. Really affordable ribbon microphone that sounds good. And with this door closed, dude, this thing picks up so much low end, and the door being closed kind of delays the sound getting into that room a little bit. So it actually creates a natural reverb that sounds really cool. And then finally over here, the stairwell mic, which this leads to my basement, but this is an untreated room. You guys can probably hear the reflections and stuff. And I've got a Warm Audio 87 R2. This is, of course, their kind of, version of the Neumann 87. This one actually works really well at picking up a lot of low end in this room. So again, it's kind of all, for me, just experimenting with sounds and tones, and maybe these goofy mics will never get used or anything, but I'm gonna kind of keep trying to mess around with them and see what sounds good and see what I can pick up. The last thing I really wanna do, I would like to put like a stereo pair of mics either up in this corner or up in that corner to pick up some reflections. I think that would be really cool because the ceiling just kind of makes this room, it makes it sound like super good. So yeah, as you guys can see, that's pretty much the tour of my drum room here. I guess if you want to come over and check out my main desk, I do have a monitor controller that I just got today. This is essentially going to be so I can split the signal between my Kali Audio IN5 monitors here. Shout out Kali, they provided those. And the monitors that are over here that are kind of just for the band to be able to listen to. These are the M Audio BX5s. These are not good monitors. Sorry if you guys own this monitor, but pretty well known. These are as entry level as it gets, and they're not very accurate. I would love to replace them with something better eventually, but right now it's kind of just for the band to be able to hear stuff. And I guess really the last thing I have is my mic collection. If you guys were in, I doubt people who are watching this video are gonna be interested in renting the studio out because most of my viewers don't live close to Erie. But I've got a really solid collection of microphones going. Shure KSM32, those are, very, very classic. Not only guitar amp mic, but overhead mic. Austrian Audio OC18. I love this mic for drum overheads. Very dark and smooth. AKG C414. This is like the ULS version. Classic as far as like drum overheads and stuff go. Got the Audix drum mics here. And then, I've got a couple of 421s kicking around. I've got a whole bunch of cool dynamic mics. These are the Dockman DA87i, and they're supposed to be a fairly accurate recreation of the Neumann U87i. Every review I've watched about these microphones is just absolutely glowing. So yeah, dude, this place is ready for business. I've already recorded a couple bands in here. It sounds amazing. I'm gonna set up a couple cameras and I'm gonna give you guys kind of a sound sample of what I'm able to pick up in this room. And I would love to hear from you guys down in the comments. What do you think about Belligerent Studios? What do you think about this room that I've created for recording? Basically the idea is I'm gonna rent this room out at a daily rate, and I'm gonna be here to like help set stuff up and stuff. So it's not gonna be like I rent it out and I leave, come in and they have access to any mic or any amp, any cab, like all my stuff. Nothing is off limits. If people want to come in here and play around with guitar tones and experience stuff for themselves, I will have this place available for an hourly rate in order to do that. So not really anything like this around Erie, Pennsylvania, and not really, as far as like just kind of coming in and trying and having access to over 100 guitar amplifiers and cabs and like really good stuff. I don't really know that something like that exists right now. So I don't know, we'll see. It might be a terrible idea, but as of right now, this is just a room that I'm using for myself. So I figure why not kind of offer it to the public and, see if people want to use it and see if people can get some use out of all the guitar gear and stuff that I have here for the channel. But ultimately, I would like to record bands here. I would like to work on my recording skills and hopefully record your band and make some awesome music. That's the point of this room. So yeah, I'm gonna set up a couple cameras and show you guys some drum sounds. Let's do it.